Hey guys, welcome to Tangled in TN. Oh, I didn't say hey good lookins. Hey good lookins. Welcome to Tangled in TN. I'm your host, Vanessa LaPepion, and I'm here for you on Tuesdays. I forgot my whole intro. Hey good lookins. Welcome to Tangled in TN. I'm your host, Vanessa LaPepion, and I am here for you on Tuesdays. So here we deep dive into haunting, mysterious, and downright chillin' tales into Tennessee's past. So if you like true crime, history, mystery, country music, Appalachian folklore, you might want to consider liking and subscribing because you just should. And you can listen to me on Spotify. So today's story. Have y'all ever been to Knoxville? So I've been there a couple of times, not like really hanging out there. We just drove through it to go to a Gatlinburg. But yeah, they had a stalker. Can you believe that? I was like, I'm glad I never stopped there. So we like to believe that we know our towns, our streets, our neighborhoods, that it is safe. And yeah, we like to believe that. And every so often, something happens that unravels that complete comfort. A shadow slips through the cracks, and you realize that you have been watched for a very long time. So this story, yeah, it never made the front page. It didn't require a manhunt, but it also didn't get solved, and that is what makes it even worse. And whoever it is, it can still be out there. So we're traveling back to 1998. 1998. Oh, I remember 1998. Princeton was my thing. I knew they came out in 97, and they were pretty big in 1998. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How awful is that song though, really? But I loved it. And it was called the Knoxville Stalker. So it began really quietly, like in a college town like Knoxville. It's always had its fair share of rumors, but these weren't rumors. These were women, students, nurses, shop employees, all who had the same experience, and it was like dead exact. It started out very small. Their lights would be unscrewed, like the front porch light bulb would be unscrewed, and they knew that shouldn't have been like that. A window would be slightly open that wasn't open the night before. Footsteps behind them didn't match the pace of anyone. And then phone calls would start. At first, there were no words. It was just breathing. And then they would hear like phrases like, I saw you walking home and you left the curtains open tonight. You look ... quiet. Most of the women didn't report it. Who would believe that someone was stalking them is a lot of their mind. That's what they really thought. Who would believe them that they're getting these calls? But in June of 1998, the Knoxville police got a call that they just couldn't ignore. Eliza Benton was a 22-year-old. She lived alone in a small apartment just off of Cumberland Avenue. So she lived walking distance from the University of Tennessee, the campus, and that's where she went to school. She worked evenings at a bookstore, and on June 17th, she vanished. So when she left work, she left the bookstore that she worked at. She walked out at 10:45 and was never seen again. She walked out the front door, she went home, and then she was never seen again. Police searched her apartment. There were no signs of a struggle, no broken locks, but something was off and felt wrong. Her lamp was knocked over. A teacup was shattered on the floor that was next to her sketchbook that was still open, like mid drawing. It was like someone interrupted her train of thought. And then there was this voicemail that was left. If y'all don't know, voicemail, back in the day, we had answering machines, and there was a voicemail left on the answering machine. It wasn't just like on your phone, it was on an answering machine. The voicemail said, I saw you painting. You look so quiet. Eliza's case went cold within just a few weeks because there was no leads, no suspects, and slowly the buzz around her disappearance started to fade. How sad is that? Gosh. So after that, reports didn't stop. In fact, they got worse. Other women started to call the police department. Fall of that year brought a wave of eerie, isolated complaints. Here we go with a neighbor. Here they go. They walk like the big bad wolf or something. I'm the big bad wolf. A woman who lived alone in Fort Sanders reported that her curtain had been sliced through. Another graduating student, like a grad student, reported that she found her back door, the actual lock had been reversed. Like instead of locking on the inside, it locked on the outside, and she knew she hadn't done that. But There was no reports of a break-in, no robbery. It was just a sickening feeling that someone had been there. And then there came this letter. So typed on what the police reported as an antique Remington machine was a note. And when I heard antique Remington machine, I'm thinking like, but that's not what it is. It's kind of like a typewriter. I had to look it up. The note was left. It was from the same woman. A note was left on a parked car that was about 100 blocks from West Hill Avenue. And this is what it read. You all walk the same. Like no one is watching, but I am. I always am. But here's the deal. No prints, no fingerprints, no footage, nothing, no clue of who put this letter there. By then, Knoxville police were quietly watching in a handful of areas, but they never admitted it to the public that something was going on because there was no true crimes that they could detect other than the one person missing, which they had no idea what happened. So they never admitted this publicly. As far as the public knew, there was no stalker, no danger. And then just as soon as it began, it just stopped. By March of 1999, it ended. The phone calls stopped. No more letters, no more nothing, no phone calls, no weird break-ins, nothing. No one found out who he was. If it was a he, no name, no face, and no one was ever arrested for the disappearance of Eliza Benton. Some people believe that he may have moved on to another town. Maybe he got justice and was caught, for another crime. No one knows. But then in 2022, something happened. A post was put on Reddit. So if you don't know what Reddit is, it's kind of like a thread, like a news feed where everyday people can post. So this post was put on Reddit and I looked for it. So this is what it said. The user claimed to have been being followed. Now she's in Knoxville. She claimed that she was followed and that a man had trailed her from Market Square to near her apartment building on Church Street, which is not too far from the college, y'all. He never spoke. He just smiled. She described him as tall with a hood pulled half up slightly around his face. Her post was detailed. It was frightening and then it was gone. Reading the post, people claimed that she was frightened, okay? And then as soon as it was put up, it was gone. It was deleted within 24 hours along with her account. Everything wiped out. No one was able to verify it sent. But the story and the details that she put in this Reddit post sounded so similar to what they called the Knoxville Star of 1998. So the Knoxville Stalker was never caught. His face was never seen other than the possible sighting from the Reddit post. But around Knoxville, you'll find some people who remember this story and have had these same eerie feelings. People still check their curtains twice. There are so many from that era. They do not walk home alone, women particularly. They leave the night light on, like the porch light on the whole night because monsters don't always wear masks. Sometimes they are just smiling and watching you. So that is the story of the Knoxville Stalker. It's not really much to it, but it is still eerie to think that somebody is out there, could still be out there just watching women walk home. And maybe the reports are not out there so much. So the reports maybe have stopped because you know what we're doing now? We are not watching our surroundings. We're like looking at the phones when we walk. We cannot walk across the street, anything, especially a lot of young women. I mean, men do it too, obviously, but young women really need to be careful and look at your surroundings, especially at dark when you're leaving work, because you never know who's watching you. So I thoughts on this, put your phone down, watch what y'all were doing, and it's kind of freaky this person was never caught. So anyway, that's my story for today. So stay safe, stay curious, put your phone down if you're walking at night, girl, and brush some tangles out of your hair, and I will see y'all guys next week. Bye, y'all.